going on, everybody? I know it's been a little while, but with Scream 6 just a few days away, I wanted to go ahead and give you a current up-to-date ranking of my Scream movie franchise. So we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to get too long-winded with this. At the number one spot, we're going to have Scream 3. Now, I have, especially with this most recent rewatch, warmed up to this movie quite a bit. I didn't dislike it nearly as much as I did in previous watchings. I'm not going as far as to say it's not my least favorite in the franchise. It still is. The kills are still pretty neutered. The Roman twist doesn't work as well as it should, because he and Sydney really don't have any scenes together. I don't believe they have a single scene together. So the twist just doesn't work as well as it should, and I don't like how they retroactively downgraded like Billy and Stu's importance in being the architects to everything that happened to Sid. So while this movie's definitely not as bad as I used to think it was, it's still number 5 for me currently. Scream 3 at the bottom of the list. But just barely beating out Scream 3 is Scream 4. Now, this is a movie that really doesn't need to exist, other than to do its normal meta state of horror at the time, and that was with the kind of reboots, or legacy sequels where you have some new characters, you have some returning characters in that thing. But at the end of the day, the movie works really well for what it's trying to do. It just doesn't really need to exist, other than a few standout moments like the Olivia kill. It just doesn't really get me that excited. It's fun to see all the characters back. Emma Roberts is great as Jill. There's a couple really, really awesome standout moments, but other than that, it just seems like a pretty unnecessary sequel. So Scream 4 just barely beating out Scream 3, and if things keep going the way they are with time, maybe Scream 4 will be at the bottom of my list one day. But for now, it's sitting at the 4th spot. Number 3 on the list is Scream 2. Now, for most people, this is probably their favorite sequel. I do love this movie. I think top to bottom, Scream is the best franchise in horror history, and I really don't think they have any terrible sequels. So when you get into the top 3, other than maybe the top spot being pretty solidified, those other ones can shift around with time. So, but currently, I have Scream 2 at my number 3 spot. It has a killer opening. I love the natural progression from high school to college. I always watch 1 and 2 together, or at least in consecutive nights. It just feels not unlike Halloween and Halloween 2, like one complete story for Sid. I know we still have part 3, but part 1 and part 2 go so well together because you have Billy and then you have Billy's mother as the primary killer. So I love that they tell a really nice, succinct, perfect story for her, and the acting's on point. Timothy Olyphant is one of my favorite killers as Mickey. So if you've watched my killer ranking, you know that I love Mickey. I don't love Mrs. Loomis as much, but I do think she has great motivation. Again, the story works really well. You kill my son, I'm coming to kill you. So I really enjoy Scream 2, but it's just not the top 2 anymore. It used to be my favorite sequel, but with the release of Scream 2022 last year, I was blown away. I was blown away by this movie. I had zero expectations. You want to talk about a movie that didn't need to exist? I did have faith in the Radio Silence guys. I knew that if anybody could do it, it was going to be those guys pulling it off, and they killed it. The new cast of characters, I'll do a separate breakdown on how you create a legacy sequel. And this is going to be the perfect example. This is picture perfect on how you satisfy old fans like me by bringing back the original cast, giving us stakes with killing Dewey. I didn't want to see it. It killed me. But, oh my God, biggest death since Randy, absolutely. So, a huge death in the movie. You introduce all of these fantastic characters who we immediately connect with, like we did with the original cast, who we immediately care about. Every single chase scene or every single, killer scene, it's effective because you don't want to see these people die. That's the foundation. If you want us to enjoy and root for the killer, then make the fucking people in the movie insufferable pricks, and we'll root for the killer all day. I'm down. If you want me to empathize with those folks, Scream 5 showed you how you create a cast of characters that you can empathize with, that you will root for. Therefore, for me, Scream 5 works as well, almost as well as the first one. But at the top spot is the original Scream 1, Wes Craven's masterpiece. I know there are people that would say that Freddy is his masterpiece, and I'm not going to argue that, but in my opinion, what he did with Scream was even better, at least as a franchise. Now, there's no denying Freddy Krueger is, S tier in the horror category, and Ghostface might be A tier, but he's not with, Jason, Freddy, Michael. He's not quite there, I don't believe. Could just be my opinion. But what Wes did in revitalizing horror, in creating a kind of subgenre of these late 90s super meta teen horror slashers that we got with I Know What You Did Last Summer's, the Urban Legends. There was tons of them that came out shortly thereafter trying to capitalize on that kind of fun, hip vibe with these movies. Halloween H2O came out shortly after and tried to really capture that. But anyway, what Wes did with Scream is he saved horror. For lack of a better term or way to phrase it, Wes saved horror with Scream. We were slowly going down a rabbit hole to direct to DVD purgatory with all of our favorite movies. All of the big three. We just talked about Freddy. He was putting out shit like Freddy's Dead, freaking Part 5, Part 4. The last 3 Freddy movies were atrocious. Wes hadn't come back and done New Nightmare yet. He kind of sampled Scream with that and shot life back into Freddy. But, Jason was making, Manhattan and all those types of movies, the terrible, terrible movies. So we needed this. We needed something that was grounded. And who hasn't either went to high school or is going to high school, knows somebody that goes to high school. It's not some zombie chasing people around. It's a human with a knife. And there's something terrifying about that reality that just kind of struck a chord with that generation. We all realized that this was possible. Some psychopath could take the movies that we love and go butcher a bunch of people and recreate, this stuff for camera and try to get famous. There were already instances of people trying to get famous by doing horrific, horrific things. So this movie just kind of pushed it in this natural direction of a killer, a serial killer, trying to copy the movies. So it worked extremely well then. It works even better now, in my opinion. I love the movie even more every time I watch. So quick recap: Scream 3 at the bottom, Scream 4 just barely beating it, Scream 2, Scream 5 is my favorite sequel at the moment, and then obviously at the number 1 spot is the original Scream. Now, I will release a short stinger after we see Scream, letting you know, Scream 6, letting you know where it falls in my ranking. But for now, this is kind of where I feel, and I'm really, 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 really hoping that Scream 6 slides in right ahead of number 5, because I don't think anything's ever going to dethrone the original. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you don't want to miss any more of my upcoming videos, think about subscribing. It takes no time, it costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. What movies are you interested in having me review? Are there any future movies you want me to go see and do reactions to? What are you guys excited about? I also have some streaming coming. I've set up a stream, so more information to come on that, but I'm very excited to get that up and running and to have some new fresh clips and game clips to kind of mix in with the movie reviews and such. So, guys, love you all. Thank you so much. Again, the support has been amazing. All of the kind words have been amazing. I'm excited to do this for you, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future. Thank you all so much. Be good to each other. Be good people. Thank you.